friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have 30-minute meals to share with you. One of the questions that I get quite a bit is whether or not I've always enjoyed cooking, been passionate about cooking, and was good at cooking. And I have to tell you guys, I come from very humble beginnings when it comes to cooking and my journey with understanding how to do it. So if you've watched some of my recipes and you were inspired by me and how I cook and how I approach cooking, know that I came from a place where I didn't know what I was doing. Now, I'm still not chef level or anything like that, but my family seems to enjoy what I put out, so I'm just gonna take that feedback and run with it. When John and I first started living together, I was sitting there like, wait a minute, we're the adults here? Like, people have just left us in charge and we need to know what to do. And one of the things that comes along with adulting is there's meals that happen all of the time and people keep showing up needing to be fed, including myself. So we were eating out constantly. We were doing a lot of takeout, Subway, things like that. And budget-wise, it just didn't work when we were young 20-year-olds and trying to navigate life. So I realized that I really needed to start figuring out that whole cooking concept, and I started binge watching the Food Network. I'm talking Food Network was on my TVs at all times. You guys might remember that Food Network was like in the golden age back in like the early 2000s. I'm talking around the 2007 mark. We had some great options on Food Network to learn how to cook. One of the shows that I was absolutely obsessed with was Rachel Ray 30-Minute Meals, because I didn't feel so overwhelmed with the concept of cooking because I can carve out 30 minutes most of the time. So I wanted to take that inspiration and share some options with you guys, and I wanted to make sure that they were nutritious as well. Now, I don't pretend to be any type of expert when it comes to nutrition, but I do try to make some balanced choices. So in this video, you've got 3 cozy, comforting meals that I think balance nutrition really well. If you happen to be new here, hi, how are you? How's the family? Thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail and giving me a chance. On this channel, I do a lot of recipe inspiration, so if you need help setting the dinner menu after you watch this video, feel free to check out the rest of my channel because I have plenty of options for you. And if you enjoy the vibe while you're here, I would love it if you'd subscribe. We're gonna get into the video now. I'll share all of the recipes in the description box below, and my husband's gonna pop in at the end. We'll share our feedback on all 3 of these, give you our ratings, and let you know which one we think you should prioritize tonight. Okay friends, we are starting this party off with a 1-pan skillet meal. And actually, all 3 of these are 1-pan skillet meals, which you know is my favorite. This one has chicken sausage, green beans, and carrots. I first had this idea to make a Mediterranean-inspired sauce because I had some tahini that has been in my pantry waiting for me to try it out forever. So I combined that with some Greek yogurt, the zest and juice of a lime, but you could use lemon, garlic of course, avocado oil, salt, and pepper. I also had to use a little bit of water eventually to thin it out to get the consistency I was looking for. Once I made that, I stored it in the fridge for myself, and since I had the tahini out, I have a bonus recipe for you guys, and that's a creamy and amazing homemade hummus. This was the first time I've ever made this, and I will never buy store-bought again after this. Well, never say never, it is me. But anyways, I used my little food processor to combine some garbanzo beans, tahini, lime juice because I didn't have lemon, oil, a little bit of honey, garlic, salt, and I ended up seasoning it with garam masala because I had that in my seasoning cabinet, but you could use cumin if you wanted to as well. I blended it for 2 to 3 minutes until it was nice and creamy, and then I added a little bit of the reserved liquid from the garbanzo beans themselves, and I blended it again until it got silky smooth. If you don't want to use the reserved juice, you could also go with water at that step. The full recipe will be down below for this. You are definitely going to want to make it. that night, I got going on the main dish. This could not have been easier. Since I had the carrots out, I made some for snacks, I grated some for our salad bar, and then I diced some up for this dish into little coins. I also trimmed the green beans at this point. I knew the carrots would take the longest to cook, so I got those going in the skillet with some avocado oil and garlic before I started slicing up the sausage. I gave the carrots a few minutes to themselves, and then I brought in green beans and sausage to the party. I let it all sear up for a few minutes together, and then I just added a little water to the dish and covered it to let it steam for around 6 minutes, I'd say, and it was ready to go. I served this over a combination of white rice and quinoa, and I'll share a little bit more about that in the wrap-up at the end. Next up, we had a creamy Italian sausage fried rice skillet. Since I had the leftover white rice and quinoa from the dinner the night before, I used it to make another one-pan meal. I love one-pan meals because the dishes and effort are always so minimal. I started with some oil in a deep skillet over medium-high, and then I added in some Italian sausage, breaking it up. If you wanted this to be even lighter, you could go with a chicken sausage here. And I let those brown up for 5 or 6 minutes. They cooked pretty quickly. I added green beans, tomatoes, and shredded carrots, and I let those saute for a few minutes until they started to soften a little bit. And then I brought in some garlic and seasonings, cooking it for a hot minute until the house had that amazing garlic smell. And then I just added in the rice, tossed it all together, and I brought the heat down to like medium-low. Now, you bring in the ultimate trio: marinara, ricotta, and parmesan. I gently folded it all in until everything was coated and creamy, and then it was ready to be plated and enjoyed. Last on the menu was originally going to be kind of a skillet pot pie situation. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it ended up deciding completely on its own that it wanted to be a stew, and I caved to its demands, and I am so glad I did. After dicing the sweet potatoes for myself, I just heated up some avocado oil and butter in my Dutch oven over medium-high heat. I used boneless, skinless chicken thighs that I had diced up, and I seasoned them with salt, pepper, poultry seasoning, and smoked paprika. I let those sear for 5 or 6 minutes, stirring them pretty often since I had a pretty big batch of them. And then I just brought in some onion and garlic, same as the last recipe, let it cook for a minute until my house got that perfect garlicky scent. Then I brought in the sweet potatoes and a cup of chicken broth. I covered that, let it cook for 6 minutes just until the sweet potatoes had started to soften. Then I brought in the rest of the broth and mixed veggies, brought the hot tub to a gentle simmer, and covered it again to let it cook for 8 minutes. All of the recipes are going to be down below, by the way, so in case I forgot to mention that, they are in the description box. Now, this next step is important because I wanted creaminess in this dish, so I decided to take an opportunity to get that but also boost the protein and use Greek yogurt. But you don't want it to curdle, so I took a little bit of the warm sauce that was in the Dutch oven and added it to the Greek yogurt to temper it first before incorporating it into the dish. At this point, you just stir it, check it for seasoning, and plate it up. Let's see what John and I thought of all 3 of these and which one was our favorite. Friends, good day. We did not have the ability to do taste tests on these 3 meals.
I mean, we did taste it, but we just didn't do it for camera.
Right. Sometimes John and I are literally like just eating on the counter, like as doing a million other things. So just, it doesn't work. So anyways, but I did want to discuss them, tell you guys our honest thoughts and feedback like we love to do, give some ratings for them. And then that way you can decide what you want to do. How do you want to set your menu? You know what I mean? So first up was a skillet meal. And this one was the first time I think we've had the Amylu white cheddar sausage links. We are big fans of the Kirkland from Costco cracked black pepper and Parmesan cheese sausages. And so I was interested to see how these ones from Amylu were gonna be because I love Amylu. But the Costco ones are like top tier.
Top tier.
I would say those Amylu sausages approach Costco's top tier ability.
They were close.
They're close, but they're not completely there.
No.
Because the thing with the Costco ones is there's like Parmesan that runs through the whole sausage, and you get like this creamy, melty Parmesan that happens. The white cheddar ones, I feel like it was just more incorporated into the whole thing, and it's not like a melty moment, you know what I mean? But overall, really good option if you want like a fast dinner protein. They'd be really good on like a sheet pan. I just happened to do it in a skillet this time. Now, one thing that I was excited about with that skillet is that I tried to adjust the amount of white rice we were having. So I split, John and I are both not quinoa fans. To me, it's like birdseed, okay?
And we know how we feel about birds.
And we know, yeah, if you watched our Trader Joe's haul from probably like a year ago, we talked about birdseed. We're not fans of things that taste like birdseed. And quinoa to me has always been like just eating birdseed. I have tried the sweet options, the savory options. It's a texture thing.
It's just a no.
However, I was like, let me try and make some white rice with quinoa mixed in, because then maybe I won't notice the birdseed being there. And sure enough, it worked. It's definitely not like as satisfying, as you will, as just having a scoop of white rice.
It's noticeable with just rice. Like if you have just like a spoonful of rice with the quinoa, it's noticeable.
It's noticeable. So
not noticeable in that.
No. That was meal one.
Oh.
So he just gave a spoiler. So meal one, we had the green bean, carrot, sausage skillet, and the white rice quinoa mixture just together.
Yep.
And it was not, like I said, it's not just like eating white rice, but it wasn't that bad. It made me be fine eating quinoa. So health, great.
Health, great.
Awesome. So that wraps up what I have to say about that, I think. Sorry that was chaotic, but what do you expect over here? The next thing I want to talk about was the drizzle that I made. I made a tahini Greek yogurt sauce to drizzle on it. John is not a Greek yogurt fan. I don't think he's a tahini fan, we found out here.
I tried it.
He tried it, and it was just not his vibe.
It was a no.
Because it's very tangy, and John doesn't even like sour cream. So like, I knew he probably wasn't gonna like that. But for me, if you're the type of person who likes like Mediterranean vibes, that was a vibe. I loved it. It's a very tangy sauce, but I felt like it was really fresh, really delicious. So it was totally my vibe. So overall for the skillet meal, I'm including it with the sauce. And you could serve it over whatever you wanted. If you wanted to do like full white rice, you wanted to do brown rice, you want to do quinoa, you can do whatever you want. You could put it over pasta probably, because it's just sausage and vegetables, you know what I mean? I'm going 7.5 on the skillet meal.
Wow.
Altogether. The sauce itself is like a 9, just to let you guys know. But the whole kit and caboodle, 7.5.
Sauce is a 1 for me. It's not my flavor palette.
It's not the sauce's fault. It's not his fault either. They're just not compatible. It's fine.
It's not compatible. As far as overall, I'm gonna go with like I'm gonna go 7.
7? It's just a simple vegetable and sausage.
It wasn't memorable.
Yeah, it wasn't memorable. That's it. Like I had to remind him every step of the way. Now what happened was the following evening, I had that leftover quinoa and not brown rice. It was white rice and quinoa mixture. I had a leftover. And so I was like, let's do some type of a skillet meal. So I ended up going an Italian route because I feel like not enough people take rice and incorporate it into Italian vibes. It should be done more often. Agreed. So I took it, I turned it into like almost like an Italian fried rice situation with ricotta and marinara and a little Parmesan and Italian sausage. Now this is when you could not notice that there was quinoa in it.
All you could taste was awesomeness.
Awesomeness.
So good.
So good. It's not one of those ones that's winning like a presentation award, but the flavor was beyond. It was so good. That one I'm going 8.5.
This meal was memorable.
Yes.
And I'm also going 8.5.
8.5 on that one.
I could almost be talked to 9, but
I probably could be too.
But
if you put mozzarella cheese on it, it would be
done.
But I was trying to like keep it somewhat reasonable.
Restrained.
Next up, and last on the list, surprisingly, was my favorite of them. And it was the sweet potato stew. So I started out thinking I was gonna make kind of like a chicken and dumpling vibe, but then it ended up coming out to be more like of a stew, and it was a vibe. So it was the sweet potato, it had chicken thighs in there, it had mixed veggies, because John's been talking about how he wanted like a turkey pot pie or something lately. So I wanted to get that type of a vibe, like a pot pie stew or like a chicken and dumplings style. The sweet potatoes were so good in there, and you could obviously use regular potatoes, but I think the sweet potatoes gave it something special. And the reason why I say I'm surprised, because I'm not really that big of a chicken pot pie fan. That's more like John's vibe. But it was like such a comforting, delicious meal, and it was like light. It looks like it's a heavy meal.
It was a comfort food without weighing down.
Yes, it was so good. And I feel like a little goes a long way with it. Like you can just have a couple scoops of it and it feels like you ate an enormous amount. So overall, that ended up being my favorite, and that one was a 9 for me.
I'm going 9 as well.
9 as well on that one.
I could be talked to a 9.5?
I could be talked to a 9.5 on that as well. All right, so that is all the feedback we're gonna get for these recipes over to corporate. If you haven't subscribed already, I'm inviting you right now to the party. Go ahead and hit it. Just join the party so the algorithm knows to throw you back our way.
Hit the little bell. Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling. I hope we delivered whatever you needed when you clicked on that thumbnail, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye.